Hey, welcome to the first episode of Asking Pete. So, just to explain a little bit about this channel is meant to be a safe space for individuals who want to just ask questions, share concerns, or simply just hear about life experiences. A little bit about myself. My name is Pete. I've always wanted to be a teacher, but life threw a lot of curveballs at me, and I ended up not becoming a teacher, but I still work in a school setting to the point where I've been able to connect many individuals where I've learned about their unique stories and just learn about life itself. Just like this channel, the purpose of this channel, like I said before, is I'm going to be sharing my thoughts, answering questions, and just discussions. I've always been an individual who has been sought for advice, and that gave me ideas to start this channel. Maybe there's someone that's out there that wants to ask questions and is just too shy, and I'll cover lots of topics, and maybe that topic will answer their question. So hopefully this channel is beneficial for you. For today, we're going to be talking about a very cool topic that I think about not a lot of people understand, and that's love and understanding your partner. I've had a person come to me personally and ask me a couple questions, and I'll read those questions out loud and I'll try and explain them along the way. One of their questions was, how do you keep your relationship with your spouse? And yeah, I'm married. I've been married for over 7 years now. Been in a relationship with my spouse for about to be 11 years now. And previous to that, we were really good friends. But we'll get more into that. The other question they had was, how can you make your relationship work? And then the last question they asked me is, why do all my relationships fail? I know this is very personal questions that they were asking, and I'm not going to disclose any of their information, but I will talk in a little bit of a broad term. So, like I mentioned before, I am married. I have been married, and I think it's one of the best and easiest things personally. I've been I've never really had trouble staying married or staying in a relationship with my spouse, and that's because I've put effort on it. But here's one thing that people don't understand: a relationship requires work, and that work goes two ways. Either it works for you or it doesn't. And the reason for this is because people tend to put the wrong type of work or the right type of effort into their partners. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about a concept that I read about like long ago. When I was going to get married, I had a pastor come to me and tell me like you need to read this book. And I read this book by Gary Chapman, and it's called The Love Languages. And it kind of broke down what love is and how you people love and how people just understand the concept of love. And even though a lot of these counselings that I had with the pastor were religious, which I'm not religious, by the way, they did help guide me to understand what love is, and it's reinforced my relationship with my spouse. So, what are the five love languages, right? You're probably asking. We have a couple ways that we interpret love, right? Like I said before. And these methods or these ways are the words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts or gift giving, quality time, and acts of service. And again, if you want to go read this book, does if it's easier for you to read a book or listen to the book, there's an audio book for it. The name again is The Five Love Languages. There's different versions of it. It's the same author, Dr. Gary Chapman. But yeah, these five love languages tend to be overlooked by a lot of individuals. So think about it like this, and you'll see my illustrations on here. All of them look like fuel pumps, right? All the one listed. Actually, let me let me change my background a little bit. I think it'd be much easier if you guys can see this better, right? So let's put a green board. Like I said before, I've always wanted to be a teacher, and when people come to me for advice, they always call me prof or like teach, you know. So why not a green chalkboard? So hopefully that looks better. So the five live languages that I have here look like fuel pumps, right? And then we're gonna have now a little canister, right? So the book talks about love being this tank that you have to refill all the time, constantly, you know, and you don't have to refill it all at once, just like a vehicle, but you need to give it enough fuel so that your partner can make it through the day, the week, the month, you know, because it's going to be constantly every day it's going to chip away or take some of that fuel. And the more you refill it, the better. But here's the thing, just like you see all the colored fuel pumps, each one is different. Every individual has a different way of interpreting love. So make sure you put the right fuel in that tank. So let's talk about the love languages, right? How would you communicate with someone, or how would you talk to someone whose love language is words of affirmation? So you'll encourage them, you'll affirm them, you'll tell them you appreciate them, you empathize, and you'll listen to them, right? So if you do all of that, you'll always fill up the love tank. Pretty easy, right? So if you are able to determine your partner's love language, you'll always have that love tank full and they won't fall out of love. So let's talk about the other ones. Physical touch. My spouse's my spouse love language is physical touch. You know, and that's about the how would you like the way I communicate with them is, by playing with their hair, hugging them, give them a kiss on the cheek. It's body language that you use to emphasize or try and demonstrate that love. And everybody has different, things. It doesn't have to be just sexual, but it's just how you show affection. Whether you caress their cheek, whether you move their hair out of their face, or just hold their hands. That's physical touch. And usually a lot of individuals are like this. And if you tend to like stay away and not be with them, or like not hug them or give them a kiss, that love tank starts depleting, and they start feeling like you're not making enough effort, right? So for question number one, how do I keep my relationship with my spouse going? I make sure that I do all the things I need to keep that love tank filled. So let's talk about another love language, gift giving. For that one, it's about being thoughtful, giving gestures and small things when they matter to express gratitude, such as gifts for like an anniversary, or they did something great, so you give them a gift for it, to represent that love. That's more of showing a more tangible love for them. It doesn't mean they're a gold digger. No, you gotta get away from that concept. It means that for them, their expression of love is a physical one. And when they're able to hold it in their hands, it means a lot to them. So the next one is quality time. Quality time means like having an uninterrupted, focused conversation one on one with your partner. Even if you don't say anything, it's just being with them, making time for them, setting aside time in your busy schedule to be with them. You don't necessarily have to have a conversation, but it's good that you do, just to check up on each other. You create special moments like, taking walks together, going to the movies, just anything that takes place with both of you there. That's quality time. And the last one is acts of service. That's my love language. And one thing I didn't mention before that I think I should is that there's ways that you interpret love as receiving, and you ways that you give. They're both different, and sometimes they can be the same, or sometimes one could be one and the other is the other. So you'll receive the love from the individual or interpret love from an individual one way, but you give it another way. And that's totally normal. For me personally, the way I show love for individuals or people or even my spouse is acts of service. So for me, it's like doing some chores. I see there's some trash, I'll take it out. Or I see that my spouse's clothes is dirty, I'll do some chores to alleviate that pressure from them. I'll cook for them, or I'll find little things I can do to make their life easier. Those are acts of service. You might be thinking, you're just doing chores for them. Yeah, but why are you doing those chores? Why are you doing those actions for them? It's because you love them. So now remember, I said that my partner's is physical touch and mine's acts of service. And the way I show people is acts of service. Now, if I'm doing the wrong or giving the wrong type of love, her love tank's never going to be filled. And eventually they're going to be feeling like they don't love me. And that's what happened to me previously in a previous relationship where I felt like I was doing 150%, going beyond, doing all these things. And they felt like I didn't care. And you know what? We were both right. The issue was I was giving them the wrong fuel. So they were always depleted. They never felt the right kind of love, and hopefully through this analogy, you're going to be able to understand it a little bit easier, and it'll be easier for you, and once you are able to identify another individual's love language, you'll know what you need to do, and one good thing that it talks about in the book about the 5 love languages is checking each other, being like, hey, how are you feeling today? Or hey, how's your love tank? And they'll be like, it's pretty full, or hey, it's depleting, or hey, it's pretty low. And that will make you reflect, hey, you know what? Have I been doing my duties as your partner? Have I been giving you the right fuel? Have I been giving you enough affection? The affection that you understand, because again, the same analogy, if you're the way you communicate with each other or the way you communicate love to each other is going to have to be different, but it has to be the right type of communication, or else they're speaking French and you're speaking Italian. You're never going to understand yourself, and you're going to lose all of that through miscommunication. And they've said communication is the strongest aspect about love and just making a relationship work. So how can you make your relationship work? We're going back to question number 2. Make sure you know your partner's love language. Make sure you understand them. And most important of all, make sure you understand yourself. Because if you yourself don't know what your own love language is, or you don't even know about yourself, or you don't know what's bothering you, how is your partner going to? Because a lot of the times your partner's going to be like, what's wrong? But if you haven't reflected, you haven't seeked that information yourself, how are they going to figure it out? No one's psychic, right? And just to wrap it all up, question number 3. Why do all my relationships fail? To tell you the truth, I don't know. This individual that asked me this question, I told them I couldn't answer that question, but I can give him the tools to help him create a stronger relationship with their partner. But in order to do that, you need to be able to create a strong foundation. So once you understand what love really is and how your partner interprets love, I think you'll be way better off. You'll come to understand each other much easier. you'll be able to check each other, see where you're at, see if you are falling out of love. And just by doing little small checks like, how are you feeling? Hey, am I giving you enough affection? No? Okay, don't take it personal. That just means that maybe I'm giving you the wrong one, correct? So if you don't refuel a car correctly with the right fuel, it's gonna burn out and you're not ever gonna advance forward together. So keep that in mind and reflect, you know. So I'll start wrapping it up here, and hopefully this is useful. If it's not, leave a comment, say something, ask another question. If you want me to elaborate a little bit more, I can do that as well. The whole point of this channel is for you guys, and I'll be bringing up other questions as well that I have, or that I have previously gotten from my workplace, because like I said before, I do work in a education setting. Well, I work in a college or a university, and I get a lot of these questions, and I see a lot of these young adults coming in from high school and to going to college. Now you're an adult, and public schools didn't teach you. They don't teach you anything really. They just taught you the basic math, English, but they didn't teach you about life. So let's explore life together, talk about life, question things, and just become better persons. So leave any comments, hopefully this helps someone or brings more understanding to a subject that someone was wondering or was too shy to ask about. So to wrap it up or bring it back again, there are 5 love languages that we have quantified to understand it, to make it easier for us. Words of affirmation, physical touch, gift giving, quality times, and acts of service. Figure out your partner's love language, the way they interpret love. Build a strong foundation. Keep that lines of communication with each other open so you can talk about it. Talk about how you feel. Talk about whether your love is being filled up or not. And it will make your relationship and way more easier than what you thought. And it will get that idea of love is hard. Love is not hard. Love is pretty much easy. And with this type of ideology, it makes it easier for you to check, and make sure that you are doing everything possible for your partner. So hope you guys like this episode. I'll keep this short. If you guys want longer episodes, just feel free to leave messages about this, and I'll try to make more episodes as soon as possible. Thanks again. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me what you think.